Hi GolfPass, I'm Eric Cogorno. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can start the swing with your driver to increase how far you hit the ball, increase your total distance, your swing speed, and all that by just doing these two simple cues right when you start the swing. If you're like a lot of students I work with, we take our setup over the golf ball and sometimes we kind of feel stuck, right? Maybe you got a little waggle going, but you're not really sure how to actually start the swing. Like, what moves first? What am I supposed to feel? And what's the point of that? And what I found through coaching a lot of players to hit the ball farther, there are these two moves you can do to set yourself up for success, get them in your swing early, and let the rest take care of itself. Like many things in the golf swing, what you do early affects the later pieces. If you do the early part of your swing correct, the rest of it can be very simple. But if that's true, that means if you do the early part wrong, the rest of the swing in like a second of time, you're trying to make up the whole time for that incorrect start. So it's very important we get started correctly. Here's what I want you to do here. When you take your driver setup, and we'll get into a normal good driver posture, ball forward in my stance, feet are a little bit wider than normal, right? Now at setup, my pressure in my feet or my weight in my feet are about 50-50. Just keep it simple, 50-50. Now, immediately as I start my backswing, that 50-50 ratio is gonna change. I'm gonna go from 50 to 60, even 70% in my trail foot immediately. So watch as I do my takeaway part number one. I want you to feel like you're actually pressing into your trail foot. Like if there's a weight scale underneath you, you're trying to press into that so that scale starts spiking up. Okay, it's more of a press down into your trail foot. So if I start the swing, I feel like I went from 50-50 to about 70% in my trail foot. Okay, that means I'm 50 on my left, 50 on my right to start, and at this point, I'm about 70 on my right, 30 on my left, taking weight off my lead foot and more onto my trail foot. Now, as I'm doing that, does it look like my body's moving massively away from the target when I'm doing that? No, right? I'm staying fairly centered. I'm not getting my whole body to go way off the target. That would increase variables, make contact more difficult. I want to stay fairly centered with my body as I'm shifting the pressure in my feet. Now, we got the pressing into the trail foot piece. Now, what do we do with the arms and the club? And I want to show you what good versus bad looks like. Okay, if I want to create effortless power and hit the ball a lot farther, as I'm pressing into the trail foot, I want to create a bunch of width. Now, the best drivers of the ball would have the most width. And we'll define width as the club head being as far away from my body as humanly possible. This would be what good looks like. Now let me show you the narrow version so you can see the opposite. If I looked at all the players who hit their driver the least consistent and the shortest, they would look something like this. There'd be no press in the trail foot, and they would be very narrow. Notice when I go narrow, my hands haven't traveled very far. The club head's very close to my body. I've got no power from here. Okay, so I want to actually literally feel like if I didn't mind hitting somebody back there, I would take this club and actually toss it back. Okay, I would toss it behind me. Now, when I do that toss motion, how does that club head look? Does that look more like the wide or more like the narrow? Looks more like the wide, right? That club head's way far away from me. If I get the first foot or two of my swing correct, I'm gonna get a lot of really good later on for free, and that's the whole point. So if you're uncertain on how to start the swing, or you want something to gain you some more distance that you don't have to swing any harder, let's put this one in. I'm going to hit one down the fairway here with that same sensation. You know, usually 1, 2, 3 rehearsals, get a good feel, and then we'll put that into our normal swing. So 50-50, I'm gonna press down into my trail foot, toss the club back. Press down, toss back. Let's go ahead and give that one a go. Press and toss. And what should happen to the ball flight is similar to that. The ball should launch a little bit higher. It should feel like, wow, that ball popped off the face compared to normal, but my swing felt easy, right? I didn't have to feel like I swung any harder. So if you're a GolfPass member, we know that you're loving all the benefits you're getting. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, leave a comment down below. We want to make sure that you're playing your best golf out on the golf course.